What's going on, guys? ShadowNinja. Today we're going to be talking about the brand new Destiny 2 exotic sword that you can get. Now, there is some spoiler warnings in this video, so if you guys haven't played the Deep Zone Crypt Raid, I mean myself either, but still, there's going to be story spoilers, and if you somehow avoided them so far in the world, credit to you. But recently, the raid was completed, and we got a bunch of new exotics that were added into the game because of the raid. Well, 2 you can get without the raid, 1 you need the raid. But in general, this new sword is pretty powerful, and it's going to be having a major impact in the overall meta of PvE specifically. So I'm very excited on that regard. Now, the first part of this video will be focusing on, my thoughts of it, what it can do, things like that, how to use it. And then the next part of the video will be focusing on how you get it. So timestamps below. If you guys are wondering how you get it, how you achieve certain steps, each important step I will have time coded down below, so you can just press that if you're looking for exos, how to do this, how to do that, etc. But first and foremost, let's talk about this new sword that I think is going to be honestly one of the most powerful exotics to use for PvE activities, especially raids and strikes, anything that you're going to be needing to do a lot of high damage quickly. So basically, it's a solar sword, and it has built-in anti-barrier modification, so it's very useful when it comes to champions. And I can see this being used a lot in the Grand Master strikes or anything difficult with champions. But basically, it has its main trait is Banshee's Wall. Hold to rev the blade, so this increases the damage, shield bypass, and adds shield piercing to all attacks. Gain stacks when dealing damage with Rev's attack, so basically if you're using this, it'll gain more damage. And additional stacks increase the damage and damage resistance of heavy attacks. So I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to use this and get as much damage as possible. But in general, it can definitely shred people. You can, as you see here on screen, I was using this in a strike. It was really powerful against the boss. I was the only one pretty much doing damage to this boss, and I took him out in a 2-phase of, in general with this boss. So again, it was pretty powerful in that regard. Now, it doesn't have a catalyst yet. I would not understand how they would add a catalyst. I think this is really powerful as it is. But yeah, it's very, very good in general. Now, in terms of PvE builds, what you're going to want to focus on. I don't know what Bungie was thinking, because again, I feel like they were trying to shy away from the sword meta, but everything they do from Fallen Guillotine now to this, they just say swords are the PvE damage powerhouse for power weapons. You're going to want to use this. Now, again, there is a new exotic rocket launcher that's pretty powerful, apparently, and gives, Galahorn apparently a run for its money, which is very interesting in that regard. But as of right now, this, I think, is the most accessible exotic you can get for your PvE power slot. Again, you probably, I don't know how hard it is to get the new rocket launcher yet in the new raid, but I'm sure that it's not going to be as easy as people are going to be thinking it is, and RNG can sometimes not be your friends with raids. But yeah, I do think that this is easily the most accessible power exotic you can get, and it's definitely going to help you a lot in PvE builds for strikes, grandmasters, grandmaster difficulties in general, and even the new raid itself. This weapon, at least for the new raid, seems like it's going to be a major help in that regard. Now, in terms of how to get this sword, first and foremost, you're gonna have to talk to Banshee. This is pretty self-explanatory. Again, I'm gonna only go over things of how you should, basically the most important things you might need help with. So the first main step of this, besides talking to Banshee, is gonna be locating dead exos. Now, you can locate these. Apparently there is more than just 3 sets alone. I found 2 in the free world, so one of them was in the Camden Bridge, and then there was another one north by the Everett Falls. It was like where the 2 fallen captains were, and then where the Vex are in the Ridge area, I believe. I forget the Abyss. No, the Abyss area, the one all everything. You'll see it later, but yeah, all locations here on screen where I found my 3 exos are. Now, you could, the 2 lost sectors, they have exos as well at the end, so you could use that one. But again, these 3 you're seeing here on screen on the map, these are the 3 areas that I basically focused on the most in regards to finding these 3 exos. Again, somewhere on screen you'll be seeing the locations, how to get it, and where they're specifically located. So yeah. Now, after this step might be a little confusing, but it's pretty straightforward. Basically, if you're wondering where the giant Exo Head is, just go on your map, find the quest mark, select it, navigation, and you should be able to speed through. There will be a navigational waypoint for you. So the Exo facility can get a bit confusing, but it will pretty much guide you on the right path to find this area. It's also important to mention that you'll definitely have to complete Beyond Light campaign to achieve this, because you're going to need these stasis, abilities to unlock this area itself. So that's important to mention. Now, the next step is complete 3 quests. Now, this is tied to Zavala and Varric's quests in terms of, the war in Europa. I've already done this, so this was already pre-checked for me, but this will certainly be the longest portion of, this quest line or quest steps. if you ask me. So if you guys haven't been proactive with Europa, you guys might need to take a while. It's not too hard, but in general, just as long as you're proactive with the Europa stuff, you should definitely get through this. Now the next part, you're gonna probably want to do this in the Abyss area on the right. Somewhere here, I have a picture of this on the screen, the map where it is. But yeah, this is basically Vex focus, and you have to kill 100 Vex with sword final blows and 20 Minotaurs, Cyclops, or Hydras with swords. Now, it's important to mention that you gotta get final blows, so you might get unlucky with the public event in this area. People might be, you know, not caring and just taking the kills. It was happening with me. The first time through the public event, I got lucky. The second time, I wasn't so much. But there's a lot of Vex in general on the areas, so you can just wander around killing. There's a plentiful of Minotaurs, plentiful of Vex. It should probably take you 30 to 45 minutes to complete, depending on your RNG in terms of how lucky you get with getting final blows. But it's also important to mention with Minotaurs, apparently there is an issue where the explosion based off of the Void Shield that you have with the, you know, potentially a Falling Guillotine, if you're using that, I think most people will be using that, has a chance to, you know, kill the Minotaur and not count as a kill. So just be mindful that you probably want to take out the shield of the Minotaur before you know, finish him off if you're using a void based sword. But yeah, that's just one important thing. Now the next one, you have to complete the Exo challenge, and this one is probably the most difficult part for me. Honestly, I wasn't a high power level, so things were a little complicated for me. But again, this is pretty straightforward. It is a difficult challenge, and I recommend being a little bit passive. But also keep in mind that this is, you know, kind of time-based in terms of, like, you know, making sure you get these orbs that keep you alive and, you know, you're in the fire. It's a pretty cool challenge. It's hard. It's awesome. Clovis Spray's AI is pretty dope itself. So that's also really good. The next part, you know, you got to do 60 finishers with against Vex. It's not too difficult. It was pretty easy. And the next part as well, also very easy, is you got to complete the Glassway Strike. Now there's going to be a little harpy that is going to be very odd. If you played the strike before, it's going to kind of tell you that you need to, you know, kill it. And yeah, you just need to kill this one strike. At the very end, you need to kill this one harpy, and you'll be fine. There's nothing too crazy and difficult about that. Yeah, and then after that, you talk to Banshee. Then you have to find these broken dream things. You have to go to the lost sector in Europa, basically by the Evertine ruins. You find this. It's pretty straightforward, and it's not too hard either. And then there's an awesome mission to complete, and this was just something really cool. I hope Bungie does more of this, but you complete the final mission, you're going to get the sword in this final mission, you're going to utilize the sword in this final mission. But I think one thing to note is that this is an awesome way to just continue your exotic quests. I felt like Fellwinter, you know, was a good tease in terms of cinematics and creating an epic build-up to acquiring this, you know, reward. And this mission definitely was that. It was a full-blown mission. It was crazy. It was awesome. And I'm very excited to see how many more exotic quests or quests in general. I wonder what Hawkmoon is going to be like, the mission-wise. The things we're going to be able to do for, you know, to get these new powerful weapons. I hope, you know, Bungie continues this trend of doing awesome missions, because, again, this was pretty flat-out awesome. But in general, guys, that's pretty much how you get it. And, again, any important steps you might have missed or whatever, you know, timestamp below. Just follow them. You'll be able to find out the timestamp of how to do it. But in general, guys, this sword I think is definitely something you're going to want to desire and get if you are a PvE focused player. Now if you're PvP only, I really wouldn't recommend this, because, again, unless you're sword peeking, I don't see how the main intrinsic trait of this can really benefit you. But in all, guys, let me know what you guys think about the new sword. If you got it already, let me know if you guys are excited about the new sword, about getting it. And if you found the video informative, definitely drop this video a like. As well, for more Destiny 2 content like this, definitely subscribe. We got a lot of good stuff on the way, so be sure to subscribe for all that good stuff. With that being said, that's all I got for this one. ShadowNinja here, and I'm out.